All right, welcome back.
And I'm too.
And Nate,
I'm back.
and so we have a bunch of atmospheric guys that I went through some of my samples and found a bunch of stuff to put in the break here. So I'll just let you listen to each one of those. So it's like a leaf rustle with some wind going on. Then I've got this.
Like a breath.
Which, yeah, it's just kind of some nice, more like noisy feeling. I'm going to change the warp. Actually, I'm probably going to get rid of the warping. Because it's not like a rhythmic thing. It doesn't need to be warped. And then I have this, which is like crowd clapping.
Adds like a level of you're famous.
Yeah. Kind of helps it sound more like you're already at the show.
You're already successful.
Yeah.
People already like you.
And
you have
then,
friends.
then I got this little guy. So
It's like a bird.
Yeah,
we found.
some kind of thing. And let's just take a listen how it does it. Okay, so one thing I noticed is that the clapping sounds abrupt. So what I want to do is ease that in, and obviously the best way to do that is for volume automation. So just go ahead and grab one of those, bring it real low. I don't want to fucking hear that shit at all in the beginning. And then as it comes up, maybe make it just a bit louder. And this will be something that people don't even really hear. It'll just help add more of like a big room kind of sound to the song as it builds up. And then another thing was this little chirp guy. I want to put a reverb on it because it doesn't last long enough. It sounds too dry. So let's just drag one on there.
Thought he would do anything.
Yeah, well, just take a listen. Okay, so the clapping sounds a lot more gradual. Doesn't catch you off guard. I might want to drag the decay time up on this. And maybe the high frequency diffusion. And if you don't know about the stuff the controls in here, you can check out our tutorial on it. We have a whole video about it. And then another thing I might want to do is filter delay. Where are you at? Bam. Put a little delay on him. That was weird. Okay, I couldn't even tell that there was a delay. So I'm gonna bring up the feedback, the volume of the delay itself. Okay, so that sounds a lot more gradual. I might actually just turn it down a few dB though.
One of the things that I always have trouble with when I'm writing a song is when I find something that I like putting it in a million times. But sometimes it's good to have
A
just
million?
like,
Oh, you mean like throughout the song?
Yeah, it's just like constant that sound and
Well, now that it's in here, I can put it in somewhere else if need
Yeah.
be.
Well, sometimes it's like really like just a special moment that happens once.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, things like this help give variety to your song, help them not be repetitive and stuff like that.
Plus, if you really like it, you'll listen to the song again just for that one part. I've done it. It's
Yeah,
not a joke.
it's true.
There's one part that just hits you on the right spot, and then you're just like, I need to go back and experience that again.
I'm just naming these.
Music is a thing. That's my quote for this episode. Music is a thing.
Oops. Claps. And call this chirp. And I guess I'll make all of these green. That's the color of effects, as you can see.
Like a green screen?
Yes.
I see what. All right. There you have it.
Yeah. Oh, another thing I did off camera that I just want to touch on real quick is the white noise that we added last episode. It was like peaking right here. And this was actually at like -3 when it hit. And once I put all this other stuff in here, it kind of sounded abrupt as well. So what I did was I dragged down the initial volume down by like 8 more decibels. And then I dragged out where it peaks for like 2 beats over so that it came in more gradually.
You're so nice.
Yeah.
Like, no one would have noticed, but you're kind enough to tell them.
Well, it's just I want people to understand
yeah.
the mindset of like, you know, you put things in and they sound good initially, and then once you re-listen to them, you'll notice what is wrong with them.
Yeah. You're
So-
a nice guy, though, because most people be like, I gave him the terrible version, and now I fixed it to make it better. They'll never be as good as me.
Yeah. Well,
It's like
if I
mixing.
hadn't fixed it, like you guys would have heard it
True.
immediately, but you might not have noticed that it was this in particular, but you would have been like, something sounds
Yeah.
weird there.
It's how
So-
I feel when I watch like a lot of mixers do things. They're like, there's not really like a way to describe like how to do this. It's
Yeah.
you just have to like and you're
Practice.
just pretty much saying like, yeah, I'm getting money from doing this. I ain't gonna tell you how to
Yeah,
steal
don't.
my job.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so for now, I think that the build-up is sounding pretty good. But in contrast, the part before it sounds like it could use some atmosphere. And one idea I had was to create sort of like a phasey movement sounding bass. And just kind of put it with a lot of reverb in the background while this is happening, and just kind of have it sweep up and down. So I'll go ahead and get started on that so you guys can see what I'm talking about. But mostly I feel like I need some sort of like gritty texture kind of thing, because on the parts where the main bass here isn't playing, it sounds like there's a little bit missing, like here and here, in each space in between the bass hits. So just take a quick listen and see if you can hear what I'm talking about. Because all that's happening on the parts where there's not the bass is the drums and the vocals. And they don't have that like raspy kind of like distortion texture that the bass has. And so that sort of element is missing when the bass isn't playing. So I want to have something subtle in the background that kind of carries over that feeling. And I might sidechain it to the bass so that when the bass does play, that instrument is actually sidechained out and it doesn't create problems. So without further ado, let's drag a massive in here. Where we at? Cool. All right, so we're gonna have to go ahead and sound design this. Just grab Wicked, just for now. Create a MIDI clip.
It's also nice little pockets to just do little interesting things too.
Yeah.
Like just put little sound effects or something interesting instead of like being like, hey, how's it going? Not that much, you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a one-sided conversation, but when you add some effects in it, it's almost like two people
Sounds great, guys.
Perfect. This is that really weird uncle that you don't really want to talk to. And hey, how's it going? Well, today I washed my car. Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, and I found my calculator. Now I have a really cool calculator.
What? Huh? All right, so I want to work with the phase knob. All right, so since our main objective with this instrument is to have it be like a reverby ambient element in the background, we want to start sound designing with a reverb on it. Because the last thing you want to do is create this sound that you think is going to sound great, and then you slap a reverb on it, it doesn't work anymore. All right, that sounds pretty good. That's kind of the basic concept of what I was talking about. So let's go ahead and grab that knob and just automate it. And you'll notice that it sounded a lot louder at the beginning, and that's because of the amp envelope. Go ahead and fix that. And drag the volume down a little bit to make up for that. All right, kind of getting there. Now, we may want to add a little bit more movement, so let's put this in bend minus plus and see if we can automate that as well. Actually, instead of tying it to the macro 1 knob, let's put an LFO on it so that it changes independent of our automation.
Oh, did you fix it so they can hear you when it's on solo?
Yeah, that's why I use another Ableton.
Oh, that's awesome. Good job.
This to be really slow.
High five that was me just clapping to simulate a high five. I don't want to lie to our viewers.
Well, they wouldn't have fucking known.
Just edit this
now
out
they
or
do.
Put it backwards. Put a sound design over it.
I think the bass was playing. So maybe it just sounds like we don't know what we're talking about right now. Anyway, I'm gonna put an EQ on here and just drop out the lows because we don't need those. All right, so now final touch. Drag a compressor in here and side chain. I'm probably going to be doing more in-depth sound design afterwards, but I just want to kind of put this in the mix and hear what it sounds like so far. So let's side chain this by phase bass. Okay. All right, so it's more of a gentle side chaining than something we would do with like a kick drum. Just to bring it down ever so slightly. And I could do this with volume automation as well. And that would honestly probably save me more CPU, so I may consider doing that. But just for now, it gives me an idea of what it'll sound like in the mix. So let's take a listen. Okay, we're having some super CPU issues. But that might need to be louder. Okay, nope, does not need to be louder. What it does need is less lows. All right, so we've got the basis of our sound, but it needs some work. We need to figure out how to get it to fit into this section without either sounding too dominant and taking away from what's there, or sounding like it's not there at all. So we'll find a balance for that on the next episode, and I'll see you then.
Bye.